Hare Krishna. So today we'll discuss from Canto 4, Srimad Bhagavatam, the characteristics and chapter 25, the characteristics of King Puranjan. Maitreya Uvacha iti sandishya bhagavan barhishaderbhipujitah Pashyatam Rajaputranam Tatrevantaradadhe Haraha. The great sage Maitreya continued speaking to Vidura. My dear Vidura, in this way Lord Shiva instructed the sons of King Barhishat. The sons of King also worshipped Lord Shiva with great devotion and respect. Finally, Lord Shiva became invisible to the princess. Purport. This chapter contains the great lesson concerning the monarchical kingdom in the days of yore. When King Barishat was considering retiring from the royal duties, he sent his sons to perform austerities in order to become perfect kings for the welfare of the citizens. At the same time, King Barishat was being instructed by the great sage Narada about the material world and the living entity who wants to enjoy it. It is therefore very clear how the kings and princes were trained to take the charge of the kingdom. Welfare activities for the benefit of the citizens were aimed at understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The human form of life is especially meant for understanding God, our relationship with Him, and our activities in His service. Because the king took charge of the spiritual education of the citizens, both the king and the citizens were happy in Krishna consciousness. In this regard, we should remember that the monarchical hierarchy of Prachina Barishat comes from Maharaj Dhruva, a great devotee of the Lord, and the most celebrated disciple of Narad Muni. King Prachini Barishat was then too much engaged in fruitive activities due to performing different types of yagyas. One can actually be promoted to the higher planetary system or to the heavenly kingdoms by performing various yagyas, but there is no question of liberation or going back home back to Godhead. When the great sage Narada saw that a descendant of Maharaj Dhruva was being misled by fruitive activities, Narada took compassion upon him and personally came to instruct him about the ultimate benediction of life, Bhakti Yoga. How Narad Muni indirectly introduced the Bhakti Yoga system to the king Prachini Barishat is very interestingly described in the 25th chapter. That is this chapter. So the background is, who is King Puranjan? So Puranjan means, now Narad Muni is going to give knowledge to King Barishat. So basically, if you try to instruct someone who is very powerful, like king, and you are telling him that you are doing wrong, then he will feel very insulted, isn't it? And he will not be benefited, and he will put off his the doors of his heart because they are insulted, because a false ego person is such a big thing in this material world that if you pamper him, then he opens his heart. So Narad Muni knows perfectly whom to preach, how to preach to whom, perfect. So now this King Barishat is the in the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj. So Dhruva Maharaj is the very exalted devotee of Krishna, Maharaj Dhruva. So in his lineage, when he sees that Prachini Barishat is too much absorbed in yagyas, animal sacrifices, and animal sacrifices, in fruitive activities, when you do sacrifices, you get some pious credits, and then the people get entangled in these fruitive activities. So but by these activities, too much of this animal sacrifices may cause him to visit the Yamaraj also. Well, there are many sins happens. Unnecessary killing will create sinful activities. So Narad Muni, having compassion on this Prachini Parishad, he comes and now he tells him the journey of someone who has credited so many sinful activities. What will happen to him in future? After death, what happens to him? So while addressing him, he gives an example of King Puranjan. Now, who is King Puranjan? It doesn't exist. But King Puranjan was someone who was similarly like you only. He was too much into animal sacrifices. And then slowly we are going to see that how he speak that King Puranjan have a very nice kingdom, so many sons, but he was too much involved in animal sacrifice, and then he dies. And then what happens is all the animals he killed in all those sacrifices, they were waiting for him with their sharp horns and their particular they are instruments of where they can inflict pain to others, like deers with the horns, sharp horns, and he has to suffer for a long time for whatever he has done in fruitive activities before. So King Varishad listening, he says, "Arey, this is my story only." You're telling that King King Puranjan is going through this. The King Varishad and King this Prachini Parishad is listening to this allegorical story. Then he understands that actually I am going to suffer the same fate which Puranjan has suffered. And then in that way, then he surrenders to Narad Muni that now what is to be done? I don't want to suffer like Puranjan. In that way, Narad Muni successfully pulls him into surrender, and then he gets the benefit. So Narad Muni is such a devotee of the Lord. He, whenever he sees even a little spark in a living entity to serve Krishna or for bhakti, he is inclined, then he immediately arrives there and fans it and gives more opportunity so that a person can become totally devotee of Krishna. So this King Prachini Parishad had sons, Prachetas. They were doing tapascharya, because previously whenever you have to perform a job of responsibility, then before that you have to do some tapascharya. So to handle a kingdom is a very big responsibility. So all the kings would send their sons before you Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, Satya Yuga and Treta Yuga, you can say, for tapascharya. Go and increase your purity by tapascharya, by austerities, and then you come back and then they take the kingship. So that part was like the tapascharya means controlling your senses and mind and senses and live austere life in the jungles. So Prachetas means Prachini Parish, this king's sons, they chose very strange place for doing austerities, where under the water. So all of them went inside the water and did tapascharya for a long time and gained so much the effulgence. They were very pure, and there was so much strong bond in the all brothers. Brothers were together. And nowadays we can see that even two brothers cannot say. Generally, Generally, you find that cannot go friendly because of so many things. But there were many, but they were having a friendship. So by seeing that, Lord Shiva became very happy that there's so many brothers, but do you have all friendship amongst yourself? So Lord Shiva comes and he blesses them. So before that, when they come up, they finish their austerities and they come out of water. The first thing they see that whole earth is full of trees, so much of trees. So because of this, they become very angry. So many big trees. I mean, only trees only. So with this anger, they burn the trees with their anger. And then the Soma, who is the father of the the plants, he comes and then says, be pacified, don't do this. Now enough trees are being burned. And your austerities, your strength should not be wasted in such kind of things. So, and they offer him the daughter of plants, and all of them marry her. And then Lord Shiva comes and then he teaches them. He gives them benedictions. That is what first verse says, that Lord Shiva came and blessed them, instructed them, and then all the sons of this king Parishad worshipped Lord Shiva with great devotion and respect. And finally Lord Shiva became invisible. So the Prachetas, all the sons were liberated, but Prachini Parishad is still entangled. So now this chapter will tell what is the characteristics of King Puranjan. Rudra Geetam Bhagavatah Stotram Sarve Prachetasah Japantaste Tapastepur Varshanam Ayutam Jale. All the Pracheta princes simply stood in water for 10,000 years. All the sons, how many years they stood inside water? 10,000 years, and recited the prayers given to them by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva. Prabhupada says that, of course, in the modern age, one may be amazed how the princes could stand in the water for 10,000 years. We cannot stand even 2 minutes. However, living within air or living within the water is the same process. One simply has to learn how to do it, because the aquatics live within the water for their whole lifespan. Certain favorable conditions are created to enable them to live within the water. In those days, however, people used to live for 100,000 years, means 1 lakh years. Out of so many years, if one could spare 10,000 years for the sake of austerity, he would be assured of success in his future life. This was not very astonishing. This was general, normal. Everybody used to do long tapasya of thousands of years. Your lifespan was 1 lakh years. If you have 100 years lifespan, you cannot do such kind of thing. So although such a feat is impossible in this age, it was quite possible in Satya Yuga. Prachina barhisham kshattah karma swak manasam narado adhyatma tattvajna krupalu pratyabodhayat. While the princes were undergoing severe austerities in the water, their father was performing different types of fruity activities. That we have. First verse is a summary of whole chapter. So we have seen. So with absence of his sons, he put himself engaged in sacrifices, one after another, chain of sacrifices. At this time, the great saint Narada, master and teacher of all spiritual life, became very compassionate upon the king and decided to instruct him about spiritual life. Only work of the devotees, they have compassion, because they have got the knowledge that how not to get entangled in the material world, and that way become very peaceful. So if you have got enough money and enough money to spend, and you see that somebody is very poor and he cannot have even bare necessities of food or shelter, then naturally compassion comes in his heart, isn't it? Because he has much, so much. Then he donates, isn't it? So because that compassion comes because he has too much. And he sees that somebody is suffering and I can help him. So that is compassion. Similarly, Narad Muni sees that because everyone is poor in spiritual knowledge, they are beggars, no spiritual knowledge. Materially they are very rich. King Barishat, he is a king, but no spiritual knowledge. So naturally compassion comes that in this life also he will suffer, and after death also, and then next life also he will suffer because of his sinful activities. So the preacher only keeps on searching for such a candidate to benefit him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita writes that the ultimate goal of the karmis is promotion to heavenly kingdom, and the ultimate goal of jnanis is merging into Brahman effulgence. So karmis means those who want to enjoy in this material world. They have no knowledge of apart from this world there is any spiritual kingdom exists. No, nothing, no knowledge. So they with the help of Vedas, so many Vedas, they see that there are spiritual, the higher planets of Swarga Loka, where tremendous amount of happiness is, material happiness is available, and you can enjoy that for long time. If you have 100 years here, there are crores of years. Your lifespan is crores of years, and there is no very short old age, and there is absence of disease, and death is quick. Not like we become old and like that. We become young and immediately. So the only aim of the heavenly planet is to enjoy. So the karmi's goal is ultimate goal. Somebody is asking, what is your ultimate goal? He may say that I want to become doctor, engineer, whatever, politician. But karmis will say, no, my aim is to enjoy in next life. Because now I am a human being, I will act in such a way that I will attain heavenly planets and then enjoy. That is, but they don't know there is also, you have to fall down. The credit you have attained in this human form of life will be depleted in the when you use it, and then again you will have to come back as a human being. And the jnanis are those who understand that wherever you go, human planet, Swargaloka, Brahmaloka, what you have a temporary body and temporary happiness. So there is no point in searching for that. The higher than this Jada Ananda, Jada means Bhautik Ananda, is a Brahmananda. Brahmananda means the effulgence, Brahman effulgence. So there if we go, then no body. Because wherever we go in Brahmaloka also we have a body. So body will create a problem. Fear, anxiety. Different type of anxiety. But anxiety will be there. So to get out of anxiety, what we have to do? The jnanis higher than karmis is to attain Brahman effulgence. कोटि कर मनिष्ठ मध्ये एक ज्ञानी श्रेष्ठ. One Jnani means impersonalist, Mayavadis and Brahmavadis. Impersonalists are of two types. One is Brahmavadi and other is called Mayavadi. But aim is to attain Brahman effulgence. But out of these two, one is innocent, in the sense, okay. But Mayavadi is offensive to the Lord. So Mayavadi is a sect of people who have philosophy that the absolute truth is effulgence. This is relative truths, our material world, but absolute truth is the effulgence. And even God takes body and associate with it, come in this material world. And we all are God. And when we leave this body, we merge in the effulgence. That is their conception. They don't know that this is very offensive to call Lord that, to say that effulgence, the Brahman effulgence is higher than Bhagwan, the person. But actual reality is absolute truth has three degrees, 3 levels. The first level is that we have seen that beyond this material world is first stage we can realize as a effulgence of Lord. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti. The Lord has so much effulgence that it covers an unlimited space. But beyond that realization is second realization, that is all pervading Lord, that is Paramatma. The Lord as a super soul resides everywhere, within everyone's heart, within the 2 atoms also. All space is covered by Paramatma. That is higher than the impersonalist realization. But the highest is, there is a person, Bhagwan, the Lord, who has the spiritual body, from whose effulgence is Brahman effulgence has emanated, and to take care, to maintain the spiritual world, the material world, he, out of compassion and love for his parts and parcel, all the living entities, he accompanies them everywhere. But he has eternally stayed, he is eternally staying in his spiritual abode and doing his leelas without any hindrance. So he expands to take care of other things, but himself, he stays in his spiritual abode. So that is the highest realization of absolute truth. Absolute truth is everything combined. Absolute truth has 3 divisions: Brahman effulgence, Paramatma realization, and Bhagwan. The ultimate realization of absolute truth is Bhagwan feature, spiritual person, Krishna, who is all attractive. That is the highest and ultimate, the highest realization of absolute truth. So now here it is said that one Jnani, one impersonalist is better than many thousands of fruitive actors, that is karmis. Now yes, and second is Brahmavadi. The impersonalist has second stream, or second types of people who believe in, they are not offensive to the Lord, but their knowledge is restricted in Brahman effulgence. They said, at least we have no body, forget about, and they have no knowledge of spirit, the Lord as a super soul everywhere, present everywhere, and the Bhagwan. They are happy being Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit soul, I am not the body. They are happy with it. Just like many times I give this example, that in education, modern education system, many people will like to settle after a degree. They will say, enough of study, I have studied enough, there are jobs available, I will perform my job in after degree. So that is Brahman effulgence. This is Brahmavadis. But there are higher jobs available if you do some specialization. And higher to that, even more specific specialization. So that is Paramatma and Bhagavan realization. The complete knowledge is Bhagavan realization. So these Brahmavadis who can turn to Bhagavan realization or Bhakta. So the Jnanis are who who have knowledge that is material world is miserable, so they go to Brahma Jyoti. Karmis are those who say that in this planet also half of the upper planets is very good, so we'll go there. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says that one Jnani is better than many thousands of karmis, because there is no use of karma kanda, because it's temporary. So Jnani is better. Comparative study. But as we see, the higher than Jnani is a yogi. Yogi is one who also does tapascharya to control his senses and body and senses, but he finds that I am Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit soul, but I have super soul with me within my heart, which is Upadrushta Anumanta Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. Ki super soul is one who is residing within me, and he is Upadrushta and Anumanta. He is overseer of all my activities, and he sanctions everything. Without his sanction I cannot do anything. And he is a Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. So he provides everything to me. He is maintaining me. And this yogi means he does all this Ashtanga Yoga, and he understands this super soul within his heart. And that way he can achieve at the end of his life. He Ashtanga Yoga means he carries his soul, he pulls his soul from the heart to the neck to the forehead, and then from Brahmarandra he can attain any planet, any planet, even Vaikuntha, if he decides. So like that is this. But there is a risk that without having a knowledge that I am a servant of Krishna, it's very risky. It is very unusual that he may go to Vaikuntha, he may go to the Brahmaloka planet also. So the safest is the Bhakti Yoga, that is directly accept a process where you act on your spiritual position, that everyone is a servant of Krishna, so his happiness will come only by serving Krishna. So place doesn't matter. So whether he is in spiritual world or material world, if he keeps serving Krishna, then that happiness will come. So even in this human body, he performs this the Bhakti Yoga, then he can attain the highest realization of Brahman, absolute truth. So this is the gradation of this gradation of different types of what do you call that? The souls who are searching absolute truth or searching better type of happiness. So karma is better material happiness. The jnana is Brahma Jnana, Jada Jnana, Brahma Jnana, Jada Jnana ani Brahmananda, Jadananda. Karma is Jadananda, finds the best Jadananda. The jnanis find search for Brahmananda, and yogis sort of are happy meditating on the super soul, and bhakta, they are happy in serving Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is their search ends. The final happiness comes from serving Krishna, because it becomes Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. You keep serving Krishna and you will feel your happiness is increasing beyond your imagination. Like that. Shreyatvam katamadrajan karmanatmana ihase dukkhahani sukhavapti shreyastanneha cheshyate So Narad Muni asked King Prachinavarasha, my dear king, what do you desire to achieve by performing these fruitive activities? The chief aim of life is to get rid of all miseries and enjoy happiness. But these two things cannot be realized by fruitive activity. What is the reason why you are doing this? In purport, Prabhupada says that if a man is not born rich and he wants to purchase a house, cars and other material things, he has to work very hard day and night for many years in order to possess them, isn't it? If somebody is poor, he has to work and then he can buy. Thus, happiness is not attained without undergoing some distress. Material happiness cannot be achieved without undergoing some distress. Actually, pure happiness cannot be had within this material world. So that's what, if like, I'll give an example. One person, he thought, oh, I have never gone to foreign countries, so I'll work very hard. What is my aim? Nowadays people have to work so many hours of a day, 15 to 16 hours. So he thought, let me work very hard and earn money, and then I'll go to such a place, such a beach where nobody will be there. The ocean, beach, I'll put my carpet and enjoy the silence. Nobody should be there to disturb me. And in that way he went there and put his carpet and slept. And suddenly somehow he forgot to see the place, but at some distance there was a ant hill. There are so big ants, and big ant hill was there. And as he was sleeping, the ants found some food he carried with him. So ants were on this beach. Nobody came for so long, and ants got some food because they have some sense of smell. They can smell the sweet. So in a big number they came, and along with this food item, they started biting this person also. So he said, what is the use of my working so hard that I have not even started enjoying this silence, but they came to disturb me. So in this material world there is no pure happiness. Someone will disturb you. Someone will create anxiety. And just like बोलते कि कबाब में हड्डी बनने कोई तो आएगा ही. It's like this is the material world, because dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So dukkhalayam means you will have to face dukkha somewhere. If you go with family to a restaurant and nice food, something will happen. Some food will be will not nice, or you will have a fight with someone or something. In the process, you will have, or you will get trapped in traffic. Isn't it? Something will happen. And that is not the discouragement we are giving. I mean, this Bhagavatam is saying that the only thing is it's a reality. That you have to know that where we are and what kind of happiness should be sought for. Search for something which is real. If you can't find something which is not there, then there is no way of, there is no use of getting frustrated and shouting. So there is no pure happiness in this material world. If we wish to enjoy something, we must suffer for something else. On the whole, suffering is the nature of this material world. इसका स्वभाव, भौतिक जग का स्वभाव ही क्या है? What is that? Suffering. You have to suffer. The father have to suffer for 16 hours so that his family becomes happy. Family gets everything for their maintenance. So he has to suffer. That is nature. And the wife has to suffer so that she has to provide food to the whole family. Isn't it? So everybody has to suffer. That is the nature. And whatever enjoyment we are trying to achieve is simply an illusion. In the sense that the our idea that this particular thing will give me happiness is very temporary. You must have come into, you must have an experience that 10 years back, whatever we had an idea that these particular things will give me happiness, now you think that these are useless. Now you don't look at that. You have a higher goal now, isn't it? So in that way, if you see that before 10 years I was giving such an importance to particular thing, and now I am not giving, then that is actually an illusion. That those 10 years I was in illusion that this particular thing will give me happiness. The matter cannot give us happiness. Still we don't understand. And then year by year we are just running behind a mirage. Mirage means in a place where we see that there is a water, but when we approach there we just find sand only. So like that, this is the enjoyment in this material world is simply illusion. On the whole, there is no happiness in this material world, but an illusion person works very hard for so-called happiness. Indeed, this process of working hard is actually taken for happiness. So, the process of achieving this happiness is so-called happiness, taken as a so-called happiness. This is called illusion. Of course, the neophyte, for the neophytes, the routine of devotional service may be very painful. You may say, oh, you are saying that by doing devotional service you will be happy. But for neophyte to do service, devotional service may appear as a very painful, but at least they have the hope that they will ultimately be able to avoid all kinds of distresses and achieve the highest perfectional stage of happiness, because they are going to attain not any material position where they will have a different grade of misery. Earth has a different grade, Swarga differently, then Brahmaloka differently. Even Brahman effulgence has a misery that there is no seva, there is no the communication, there is no association, in the sense that you are soul hanging around. To associate you need a body, people, person, so you have to come back. So there are different grades of distresses, but by going through the devotional service, if we are not pure, so we will find this also miserable. But the goal which we will achieve will give us freedom from all kinds of distresses, because that place is spiritual world, Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means there is no Kuntha. Kuntha means misery. Kuntha means problem. Vaikuntha means there is no misery, no problem. So if you know that you are going to achieve that, so if the process is little bit troublesome, giving some misery, then that is all right. Ultimately we are going to a place where there is no misery. That's why our Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tattvata tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mamesvarjuna. If you understand in this process, if we do this Bhakti Yoga, then we understand that Krishna, his birth activities are transcendental. And this we want to understand very clearly, tattvataha. Then for him there is no birth again, no material birth. So if one is at all serious about attaining liberation from all these miseries, he must take to devotional service. And devotional service aim is to understand that the Supreme Person, Bhagavan, is a transcendental. His birth and his activities are transcendental. Raja Uvacha, when Raja, the king was asked, what are you searching for by doing all these fruitive activities? He says, Na janami mahabhaga param karma pavidhadi bruhi me vimalam jnanam yena muccheya karmavi. King replied, O Narada, my intelligence is entangled in fruitive activities. Therefore, I do not know the ultimate goal of life. I don't know. Kindly instruct me in pure knowledge so that I can get out of this entanglement of fruitive activities. So surrender. He said, he was very honest that I really don't know what I am doing. Please give me pure knowledge. So Narottam Das Thakur said that Satsanga chhadi kainu asata vilas te karane lagya ye karma bandha fas. So whoever is getting bound by these material activities just because of why? Because he doesn't have any satsanga, or he has satsanga and he left it. Satsanga chhadi kainu asate vilas. So as long as a person is entangled in fruitive activities, he is bound to accept one body after another. Karma kanda will give you birth after birth after birth. This is called karma bandha fas. Fas means फांसी देते ना तो ऐसा गला फास तो इधर खींचो तो वहाँ तक चला जाता है. सो कर्म बंध फास तो our karma will pull us here and there from one body to another. So satsanga of a pure devotee like Narad Muni can give us a knowledge which can take us from the karma bandha fas. So pure knowledge will guide us, and pure knowledge can come only through satsanga by pure devotees. So there is one point here again. Karma bandha fast means not only impure activities or the sinful activities will bind you. No, even punya can also bind you. Good activities. So you should understand that you have to do such a karma, such a work which will not bind you. So only work which will not bind you is work to please Krishna. So how can we know that are we pleasing Krishna by our work? We have to have knowledge of Shastra and a Guru. So Shastra guides us that what is akarma, which will not give us. Otherwise, if even punya will have to have a body. With punya also we have to have body. Gruheshu kutam dharmeshu putradaradhanarthadi na param vindate mudho brahmyan sansara vartmasu. Those who are interested only in so-called beautiful life, namely remaining in householder entangled by sons and wives and searching after wealth, think that such things are life's ultimate goal. Such people simply wander in different types of bodies throughout the material existence without finding out the ultimate goal of life. So if all grahasthas also needs guidance. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a grahastha, but he was not a normal grahastha. He was such a pure devotee that he made his home as a temple, home as a Vaikuntha, where everything was related to Krishna. Everything was related to Krishna and all the activities were to please Krishna. So if we have a guidance of a pure devotee, a guru, then we can implement the teachings of Shastras in our day-to-day life. In that way also, in Kali Yuga also we can get out of this karma bandha. Otherwise, generally it is found that we are just increasing our karma bandha fast, making it more tighter and longer enough. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here.